What if dragons were real? What if unicorns actually existed? What if the monsters from ancient legends weren't made up at all? Turns out, they weren't. Scientists have the fossils to prove it. Today we're counting down 9 mythical land beasts that actually existed, and the evidence at number 1 is absolutely chilling. Let's dive in. Number 9. Unicorn. For centuries, travelers returned from distant lands with tales of horse-like creatures bearing a single, spiraling horn. Medieval tapestries depicted them, ancient texts described them, but were they just fantasy? Here's the twist. Unicorns might have been real, just not the way we imagined. In 2016, scientists discovered that the Siberian unicorn, Elasmotherium sibiricum, survived until just 29,000 years ago. That means early humans walked alongside this creature. It stood over 6 feet tall at the shoulder, weighed nearly 8,000 pounds, and sported a massive horn on its forehead, possibly up to 3 feet long. But there's more. Throughout history, narwhal tusks were sold as unicorn horns for massive fortunes. Traders knew these spiral ivory horns came from the Arctic, lending credibility to unicorn legends. When Marco Polo visited Indonesia, he described unicorns, but noted they were ugly, with thick legs and boar-like features. He'd likely seen a Javan rhinoceros, another one-horned giant. The oryx, an antelope from Africa and Arabia, appears to have a single horn when viewed from the side. Ancient travelers seeing these creatures in profile could have spread tales of one-horned horses. So yes, unicorns existed, just not as magical white stallions. They were massive prehistoric rhinos, tusked whales, and antelopes that inspired one of history's most enduring legends. Number 8. Wyvern. Medieval Europe lived in fear of the wyvern, a two-legged dragon with massive wings, a barbed tail, and breath that could poison entire villages. Unlike the four-legged dragon, the wyvern walked on its hind legs and used its wings like arms. But was this pure imagination? Paleontologists now believe wyvern legends were inspired by pterosaur discoveries. The largest flying creature ever, Quetzalcoatlus, had a 33-foot wingspan, wider than a small plane. It stood as tall as a giraffe when on the ground, and walked on all fours, using its wings as front limbs, exactly like wyvern descriptions. Here's what's chilling. Some pterosaurs survived far longer than we thought. Fossils have been found in rocks much younger than the dinosaur extinction, and indigenous peoples around the world describe giant flying reptiles in their oral histories. The Aboriginal Australians spoke of the Burunjor, Papua New Guinea legends tell of the Ropen, and Native American Thunderbird stories often describe reptilian features. In 1856, workers in France reportedly discovered a living pterosaur sealed inside a rock formation. The creature allegedly died shortly after, but not before terrified witnesses described its leathery wings and long beak. While this story remains unverified, similar accounts pop up throughout history. The wyvern's poisonous breath? Likely inspired by the rotting flesh these scavengers consumed, giving them bacteria-filled bites and foul breath. When people found their massive skulls with cruel beaks and saw cave paintings of them in flight, the legend of the wyvern was born. Number 7. Basilisk, the king of serpents. According to legend, the basilisk was born from a chicken egg hatched by a toad under a full moon. Its gaze could kill instantly. Its breath withered plants. Even its hiss drove other snakes away in terror. Sounds impossible, right? Not quite. Several real creatures match parts of this description frighteningly well. First, there's the king cobra, the world's longest venomous snake, reaching over 18 feet. It can raise a third of its body off the ground and literally look a grown man in the eye. When threatened, it spreads a hood and releases a hiss so loud it sounds like a dog's growl. Its venom attacks the nervous system so fast that victims can die within 30 minutes, sometimes losing consciousness almost immediately, making it seem like the snake killed with its gaze. But there's an even better candidate, the spitting cobra. This snake can spray venom directly into the eyes from up to 8 feet away, causing instant blindness and excruciating pain. Imagine ancient people encountering this for the first time, watching someone look at a snake and immediately collapse, screaming and clutching their eyes. They'd absolutely believe the creature killed with its stare. The basilisk was also described as having legs and a crown-like crest. The crested basilisk lizard of Central America can run on its hind legs across water. Yes, it literally walks on water. When early explorers saw this, combined with its crown-like head crest and aggressive behavior, they brought back tales of a basilisk. There's fossil evidence too. Najash rionegrina, an ancient snake from 95 million years ago, had functional legs. Ancient peoples finding these fossils would see exactly what legends described, a serpent with legs. The basilisk wasn't one creature. It was a collection of terrifying real animals woven into a single nightmare. Number 6. Thunderbird. Native American tribes across North America spoke of the Thunderbird, a massive bird so large its wing beats created thunder and lightning flashed from its eyes. When it flew, storms followed. Could something this enormous have actually existed? The answer is yes, and it vanished far more recently than you'd think. Argentavis magnificens was the largest flying bird ever discovered, with a 23-foot wingspan and weighing up to 170 pounds. When it took off, the downdraft from its wings could indeed create booming sounds. But it went extinct millions of years ago. Or did it? In the 1890s, newspapers across Arizona reported that cowboys shot and killed a massive bird with smooth skin, wings like a bat, and a 160-foot wingspan. They supposedly dragged it to town and took a photograph. That photo has never been found, leading many to call it a hoax. But dozens of people claim to remember seeing the picture. More convincingly, the Haast eagle of New Zealand survived until just 600 years ago. With a 10-foot wingspan and talons the size of tiger claws, it hunted moa birds, which were 12 feet tall. Maori legends describe the poakai, a giant bird that swooped down to snatch people, especially children. These weren't myths, they were warnings based on real attacks. In 1977, a 10-year-old boy in Illinois claimed a giant bird tried to carry him away, lifting him several feet off the ground before his mother's screams scared it off. Multiple witnesses confirmed seeing enormous birds that day. California condors, with their 10-foot wingspan, still soar over North America. Imagine ancient peoples seeing these giants silhouetted against storm clouds, their massive shadows sweeping across the ground. Add the boom of thunder, and you have the perfect storm, literally, for the Thunderbird legend. The evidence suggests enormous raptors once ruled the skies, and some may have overlapped with human civilization far longer than science admits.
Number 5. Fenrir. Norse mythology tells of Fenrir, the monstrous wolf so powerful the gods themselves feared him. He was prophesied to break free from his chains during Ragnarok and swallow the sun. His jaws could stretch from earth to heaven. While that's clearly mythological, the inspiration might have been terrifyingly real. Meet Canis dirus, the dire wolf. Recent DNA analysis proves these weren't just big wolves. They were an entirely different species that dominated North America for over 200,000 years. They went extinct only 10,000 years ago, meaning early humans definitely encountered them. Dire wolves were built like tanks, up to 200 pounds of pure muscle, with bone-crushing jaws designed to take down prey much larger than themselves. They hunted in packs and targeted megafauna like giant sloths, ancient bison, and young mammoths. Their bite force exceeded that of modern wolves by over 30%, allowing them to crack open bones and tear through the toughest hides. But here's where it gets interesting. In Siberia and Northern Europe, where Norse legends originated, an even larger wolf roamed. Canis lupus maximus fossils show specimens that stood 3 feet tall at the shoulder, nearly eye level with an adult human, and weighed up to 250 pounds. The La Brea tar pits in California have yielded over 4,000 direwolf specimens, more than any other animal. This suggests they were abundant and aggressive, often getting trapped while pursuing prey. Early humans watching pack after pack of these massive wolves attacking giant animals would absolutely create legends of unstoppable beasts. Some cryptozoologists point to ongoing reports of abnormally large wolves, particularly from remote regions of Canada and Russia. In 2007, a wolf shot in Alaska weighed 175 pounds, far above the normal range. If wolves can occasionally reach these sizes today, imagine what their prehistoric cousins were capable of. Fenrir wasn't just mythology. He was a cultural memory of the massive wolves that once hunted alongside and sometimes competed with early humans. Number 4. Behemoth. The Book of Job describes Behemoth as the most powerful creature God created, with bones like bronze tubes and tail like a cedar tree. He is the first of the works of God. For centuries, scholars debated what this could mean. Now we might have the answer. Behemoth was almost certainly a sauropod dinosaur, and here's why that's shocking. Humans might have seen them. Patagotitan majorum, discovered in Argentina, weighed nearly 70 tons and stretched over 120 feet long. That's longer than a blue whale. Its leg bones were taller than a grown man. Its tail could demolish trees with a single sweep. The biblical description of bones like bronze? Sauropod leg bones were solid and incredibly dense, more like bronze than any living animal. But sauropods went extinct 66 million years ago, right? Not necessarily everywhere. In the Congo rainforest, local tribes describe Mokele mbembe, a dinosaur-like creature with a long neck, small head, and massive body that lives in remote swamps. Multiple expeditions have searched for it. While conclusive proof remains elusive, the descriptions are eerily specific and consistent across different tribes who've never contacted each other. In Cambodia, the Angkor Temple complex built in the 12th century features detailed carvings of animals: elephants, monkeys, birds, and what appears to be a stegosaurus. The carving shows distinctive backplates and body shape that perfectly match the dinosaur. How did 12th century builders carve an accurate stegosaurus unless they'd seen fossils or living examples? Native American petroglyphs in Utah show long-necked creatures that closely resemble sauropods. The Kachina Bridge petroglyph is particularly famous. It depicts what looks unmistakably like a diplodocus. Here's the thing. Large land animals can hide remarkably well. The mountain gorilla wasn't confirmed real until 1902. The saula, a large forest ox, wasn't discovered until 1992. If sizable mammals can evade detection, could relict populations of sauropods have survived in remote jungles or swamps longer than we think? Behemoth might not be roaming the Earth today, but the evidence suggests humans encountered these giants far more recently than science currently acknowledges.
Number 3. Roc. Arabian legends speak of the roc, a bird so massive it could carry elephants in its talons and blot out the sun with its wings. Sinbad the Sailor described its eggs as large as buildings. Marco Polo claimed the Khan of China sent expeditions to find its feathers. Pure fantasy or ancient memory? Epiornis maximus, the elephant bird of Madagascar, stood 10 feet tall and weighed up to 1,000 pounds, nearly twice as heavy as an ostrich. Its eggs were the largest single cells ever to exist, with a volume of 2 gallons. A single egg could hold the contents of 160 chicken eggs. These birds survived until approximately 1000 to 1200 AD, meaning they coexisted with humans for thousands of years. Arab traders regularly sailed to Madagascar for goods. When they saw or heard stories of these gigantic birds and found eggs the size of small children, the legend of the roc was born. Over time, as stories passed from sailor to sailor, the bird grew larger with each telling. But there's an even more compelling candidate, Pelagornis sandersi, the largest flying bird ever discovered. With a 24-foot wingspan and weighing up to 88 pounds, it soared over oceans 25 million years ago. However, fossils of massive flying birds have been found in much younger rock layers. The Maori people of New Zealand have legends of Te Hokioi, a massive bird with red and black plumage and a yellow-green crest that attacked humans. Some researchers believe this describes a larger relative of the Haast's eagle that went extinct only 500 to 600 years ago. In the 1980s, a researcher named Etienne de Flacourt documented the Vuron patra in Madagascar, a huge bird that local people said still existed in remote regions. His descriptions match the elephant bird perfectly. Could some have survived longer than we think? Giant flying birds and massive flightless birds both existed. Both lived alongside humans, and both would have inspired tales of the legendary roc. The line between myth and reality is far thinner than we imagine. Number 2. Manticore. The Manticore haunted Persian legends as the ultimate predator, a creature with a lion's body, a human face, bat wings, and a scorpion's tail that shot poisonous spines. Its voice mimicked human speech to lure victims close. Anyone caught by the Manticore disappeared completely. It devoured everything, even bones and clothing. This sounds like pure fantasy until you start breaking down the components. The body. Persian lions were smaller and more agile than African lions, but no less deadly. The Indian Asiatic lion subspecies that inspired these legends is now critically endangered, but it once ranged throughout the Middle East. The human-like face. Baboons and certain monkeys have eerily humanoid faces, especially when viewed at dusk or from a distance. The gelada baboon, native to nearby Ethiopia, has a hairless face, light skin, and expressive features that can look disturbingly human. When travelers saw these aggressive primates, especially males with their impressive manes, attacking prey with shocking violence, the human-faced beast was born. The poisonous tail. Scorpions were, and are, abundant in Persia. Large specimens can deliver agonizing, sometimes fatal stings. Meanwhile, porcupines shoot quills when threatened, and these barbed projectiles can cause serious injury and infection. Ancient peoples encountering predators near scorpions or quill-shooting porcupines could easily combine the threats into one creature. But here's where it gets really interesting. Paleontological evidence shows that prehistoric big cats called Homotherium, scimitar-toothed cats, survived in Asia until approximately 10,000 years ago. These cats had unusual body proportions, longer front legs than back legs, giving them a distinctive, almost hyena-like appearance. They were pack hunters with powerful jaws and were far more aggressive toward humans than modern big cats. Some cryptozoologists suggest relic populations survived longer in remote Persian mountains. Reports of unusual big cats with strange body shapes and aggressive behavior toward humans pop up periodically from Central Asia, Iran, and Afghanistan. The Manticore wasn't one creature. It was a nightmarish fusion of real predators that created the perfect monster in the human imagination. Number 1.
Nidhogg. We saved the absolute worst for last. In Norse mythology, Nidhogg is a dragon that gnaws at the roots of Yggdrasil, the world tree. It lives in the frozen realm of Niflheim, emerging only to feast on corpses and spread chaos. When Ragnarok comes, Nidhogg will rise to devour the dead. But what if this wasn't just mythology? Meet Titanoboa cerehonensis, the largest snake that ever existed. Discovered in Colombia, this prehistoric monster reached 50 feet long and weighed over 2,500 pounds. Its body was as thick as a barrel. It could crush and swallow a crocodile whole. And here's the terrifying part. It went extinct only 58 million years ago, relatively recent in geological terms. But Nidhogg specifically comes from Norse culture, so we need to look at Scandinavia. During the Ice Age, the region was populated by massive reptiles we're only now discovering. In 2006, paleontologists found evidence of enormous predatory reptiles called pliosaurs that hunted in Arctic waters. Pliosaurus funke had a skull over 6 feet long, filled with teeth the size of kitchen knives. While it was marine, its remains have been found in areas that were once frozen coastal regions, exactly where Norse mythology places Nidhogg. Here's what's chilling. Persistent legends from across Scandinavia, Russia, and Siberia describe enormous serpents living beneath the ice. The Lindorm of Swedish folklore is described as a massive serpent that burrows underground and emerges during thaws. For centuries, Scandinavian farmers reported finding enormous reptilian skeletons when excavating cellars or during spring melts. In the 1930s, Soviet scientists documented reports from Siberian tribes of massive ice worms that emerged during brief Arctic summers. These weren't worms at all. Descriptions suggested reptilian creatures of enormous size that hunted in partially frozen lakes and rivers. Most dramatically, in 2018, melting permafrost in Siberia revealed incredibly well-preserved prehistoric remains, including species science had never seen before. As climate change continues to thaw the Arctic, we're discovering that the frozen north was home to far more life, and far stranger creatures than we ever imagined. Could something massive and reptilian have survived in the frozen reaches of the north long enough for early humans to encounter it? Could some have been preserved in ice, occasionally thawing and being seen by terrified witnesses? Nidhogg represents humanity's oldest fear, that something ancient and terrible is sleeping beneath the ice, waiting. And given what we're now finding as the Arctic melts, that fear might not be entirely irrational. These 9 beasts weren't just bedtime stories. They were echoes of real encounters with creatures that tested the limits of human imagination. From the frozen north to scorching deserts, from dense jungles to open plains, our ancestors faced monsters we can barely comprehend today. But here's the thing that should keep you up at night. We're still finding new species every single year. Massive animals thought extinct are being rediscovered. And with vast regions of our planet still unexplored, remote jungles, deep caves, the Arctic tundra, who knows what else is out there? The legends never truly die, because the truth behind them refuses to stay buried.
Don't let the hunt end here. Subscribe now and join the journey into the unknown, where every video uncovers creatures and mysteries that will change how you see our world. Hit subscribe to never miss a discovery. Every video reveals something new, something unexplained, something that proves reality is stranger than any myth. What creature will we uncover next? There's only one way to find out.